God never sends me where I would be comfortable. He always sends me where I'm uncomfortable. That it's my job to make things comfortable. So no matter what life presents you, don't stop doing what you've been called to do. I built my life around my kids. The moves I made was based on my babies, not me. They was based on what was good for them. So I take pride in that. Ain't no baby daddy. I'm a father. God never sends me where I would be.
Man. Man, welcome to Trust in the Process. I'm Gil Garrett. I'm going to be your host for this Saturday afternoon. Thank you for coming to the page. If you haven't had our opportunity to go over to Mr. Trust the Process to like, share, and subscribe, please do so. We are going to have a great conversation today. I felt just a little bit compelled to, to have a little heart to heart with two specific genres or industries, if you will. And the two is law enforcement and being an elected official. I'm going to talk about the two things that I feel I am qualified to talk about because of my experience and the things that I've been able to do and not do. And I think that's what's going to set this apart, is that I'm going to talk about some things that have worked, and I'm going to talk about some things that have not worked. And when we talk about trust in the process, and I keep trying to tell you how to get over to this page and be a part of the community and let it grow, is because we believe, the team and I believe, that in trusting the process, you're going to find your purpose. And in finding your purpose, you're going to clearly understand what your assignment is. And then that abundance of life, because each and every last one of us, I've had this YouTube channel for about, I'm going to say 10 years. I think it started back at 2015. But I've been going live and on Facebook and just kind of sharing who I am all of my life, on every stage that I've been able to go into, get in front of, being transparent about my failures. Because I don't look at my failures as something that I need to be put down about. I look at my failures as lessons. And all of those lessons, all those mistakes, they've helped me enjoy some of the greatest successful moments I've had in my life. And I just believe that if we show other people how to do that, we'll have less envy and jealousy and things of that. So, and I know I'm not just, all these things have been around. I mean, they did it to Jesus Christ, but that's not the point. And it shouldn't stop us from trying to put everybody on to a better position. Because if you that type of person that like to put people on, if you that kind of person that feels like you like that go-to person, you don't really, I'm putting you on. And I'm putting you on because I want you to be successful. I want you to have success in what you're doing. And so I've always been that kind of person. I've always been that kind of person that I want to put you on. I want you to be in a space where, I can see you growing. You know what I'm saying? And if some residual comes behind that, great. If it don't, great. Because you got to be in a space when you're a leader, specifically, again, in law enforcement and as elected officials, and specifically in that board of education realm, right? Like, I want to start having some real conversations about, again, do's and don'ts. What's worked, what haven't worked. And so again, if you've been in that space, if you are a police officer, retired, currently working, I understand the social media policies and things of that nature, some things we can't get into, depends on what the agency is. You don't even have to remember, affiliate yourself with your agency. You know what I'm saying? But we need to have some conversations about, you know, what's working in your community to help bridge the gap between law enforcement and police work. What is helping you as an individual? You know, what do you do as a police officer that's different than when you joined the agency? And I know police officers who's been a part of several different agencies, like have really been, you know, not part of just one department, two departments, not just been at the local level, been to the state level. Then when they finished there, they went to the federal level. All those experiences matter. I want to talk to you elected officials who go out there and beg for people votes. And I gotta be honest with you. You know, I can honestly say that when people voted for me, they knew exactly who they were getting. And I'm grateful for that. And what do you mean by that, Gil? What do you mean by they knew exactly what they were beginning? Is that I didn't have to put up no pomp and circumstance. I didn't have to make some fake, you know, well, this is what I'm going to do for you. No, this is what I'm doing for us, because I feel the same way you do. And then I'm going to ask that you hold me accountable when it's time to make a decision, though. I'm not about to, as soon as you elect me, you elected me because you say that I stand on what you stand on. And so when you elect me, you don't expect me to keep coming back to you asking you what to do. You elected me to do that job. And if you feel like you could do the job better than me, then you should put your name in the hat to do the job better than me if you feel that way. But I've never been one to go back. If there was some conversation that I was confused about, of course. If there were some things that I wasn't quite sure that I felt that I had a pulse on, of course. But things you know for a fact that the community needs and want, for you to keep going back out there asking them, well, what do you think? You stalling because you don't know. You stalling because you lied. And you stalling because you don't quite want to make the mistake because you looking at your next level. You're looking at the next vote. You're looking at the next term. And so, yeah, I want to have those conversations. And I do plan on running for political office again. But I'm in a space in my life, and I've always been in this space, that it's not going to be predicated on whether you like me or not. And I'm not about to be in a space where I feel like I'm caged in and I can't be who I am. And I'm not saying to be disrespectful or anything like that, but I think people are sick and tired of the whole just actor type of situation. You know, I really believe people are really tired of the whole, you know, we here to, you know, we putting ourselves in various positions to just be actors. And I know for a fact people are tired of that. So here's why I say I'm qualified to speak on these certain areas, because I spent a lot of time in law enforcement over 2 decades. Yeah. I spent time working in my respected community and serving in various platforms at various levels, which had taken me to the state and national level, where I still serve. These are positions that I'm still serving in. The only position that I'm not serving in right now is the transition team for the mayor. You know what I'm saying? But it was a great space to be in. I can speak to the facts in my community of how that transition went that first term. When people try to put in a bunch of, I don't know, man, it's crazy to me. How people put in a bunch of like lies. That's all about I can put it. Shit. I mean, excuse me. Lies. I mean, they try to mask certain things like they had it all together. When you talk about operations in the city of Pontiac, I started that as a police officer. Local police department. 14 years in that thing. 12, what? Yeah, 14, 13 years before we transitioned over to the sheriff department, which is an awesome place to work. We could talk about that. We could talk about the school board. Like, you have so many questions. That's why it's just easier to be yourself, because we can have that real conversation with anybody, anywhere. People win and lose on action. It is what you're doing. What you're doing is causing you to either win or causing you to lose. It's the word accountability that's going to check either one. If you're winning, let's check on see how we winning and how we can keep that going. If you're losing, if you're not getting the desired results that you're asking for, hold yourself accountable and say, how do we get better? And not attack. Not attack people because the word accountability comes up. And if you don't know, it's okay to say you don't know. I spent 20 plus years, 2 decades making mistakes, winning, losing, learning from it, keep building up, keep coming back. Like, it's a part of my assignment. I told you here when we saying trust in the process, like, hey, I'm telling you, I'm giving you what happens to me. I had to find my purpose, then find my assignment, and then understand how God built me, how he made me, and not be ashamed of that. And so I put these receipts out is because of the fact that it's my experiences. It's who I am. It is, I'm qualified, like you documented that you can have these type of successes. And I ask you to do the same thing. Stop following behind these people who just throwing sound bites out and clickbait and can't really speak to what area or speak to anything that when you're involved, because we got silly season coming up. We got election season coming up. Yeah, we got silly season coming up. And in silly season, I call it, well, one of my old mentors used to call it silly season. He's now transition. But he called it silly season because it's when people come out of nowhere. I'm the greatest person for this. I know what I'm talking about. There's no relationship between the schools and the city. There's no this and that. You like, bro, you ain't been around info. You've been in the shadows. How are you even qualified to have that conversation? But I'm here to encourage or have conversations with individuals who've been in them spaces in different towns, in different cities. And I want to have a conversation about it. Because in that conversation, we're going to come out with some solutions. And then let's see how we can move that. A lot of people talk about being in these small business spaces and granting things and no digital footprint, no marketing, no any other things that they say that they need. You can't hide from what's happening. So I appreciate y'all being here with me. I want to share a couple like reels that I've saved to kind of help. Let's just say it's helped me along some time. And so I share them with you just as, a bit of inspiration.
If we all do a little bit, nobody have to do a lot. If we all, I tell my barbers, if you take care of your station is clean.
And if y'all don't know who this is, just kill him, Mike.
Customer to come in. If we always TV ready, TV gonna keep coming. If we all do a little bit, nobody have to do a lot. If we all, I tell my barbers, if you take care of your station is clean and beautiful and ready for presentation for a customer to come in. If we always TV ready, TV gonna keep coming.
Did you hear what Mike said? If you always ready, if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. Basically is what he's saying. And Killer Mike started out in Atlanta, you know, hustling, doing this thing, owning barbershops, and has a great story, great entrepreneur, in his own right, Grammy Award winning. The man been in just countless, you know, research Killer Mike. That's what you need to do, research Killer Mike. You know, if you want to talk about advocacy in Georgia, if you want to talk about, you know, getting this community active in certain things and moving and making sure rappers, you know, have a responsibility and making sure that they know that the music that they putting out and being responsible for that and governing that and having people and young people look up to them. Killer Mike was one of them ones, right? And so you have to start being a person of substance. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was having this, it was crazy because I was having this conversation with somebody and they were like, and it was about participation trophies. Cause now I don't really have, I don't get into the whole relationship because I think all of that is just, it depends on the individuals, right? Like, it's so much, like it's 8 billion people on the planet. Nobody's the same. So nobody's an expert on relationship. I think you can give some advice, and if it relates to you, take it. If it don't, then throw it away. But anywho, we were talking about participation trophies. And I think a lot of these men who, I know for a fact now, a lot of these men who are in these certain spaces and women calling them sassy and, you know, dudes, I sometimes I think they get a little too carried away. But these participation, like, just because I showed up, I should be a part of it. Or just because I showed up, I should lead it. I think that comes from that participation, I call it generation. Or practice. That because you showed up to the field, you should get a trophy just like the first place. And I just told my partner, I was like, man, I think that's absolutely ridiculous. I think it's crazy that you don't have to learn from the lessons that you didn't quite get it. You didn't make the mark. You set the mark here, you not here, you don't want to keep doing the work to get here. So give me a participation trophy. And if you keep doing that to kids, right? They do it as kids, adolescents. They keep giving these participation trophies, right? If you keep doing that, ultimately you get to a point where they expect just because they show up that it should happen in their relationships, at the job. Or you see them people flip-flopping. I want to be an entrepreneur this week. No. I think I want to be a CEO this week, and I want to be, you know, I have people who come up to me, kids all the time. I want to go police work, but I don't want to work the road. Or I want to work in the jail. What? I want to be a detective. So you want to skip, first of all, everybody that was before you. But then you ultimately, if I'm telling you the hard work that it takes you to get to the goal that you want, you say, no, I don't want to do that. I'm like, okay, that doesn't make sense. So you just want to just come in and just be able to be a detective because that's what you've seen on TV. And if we don't start telling the generation behind us, if we don't really start telling people the truth, you really set people up for failure when you do that. And when you semi-gaslighting folks that, oh, they good at certain things, there's a way to communicate to tell somebody that's just not your area, man. I've had plenty of people put me down in areas that I thought I was just like excelling at. And they were like, nah, G, you might need to work on this a little bit. Give me tips, constructive criticism. You know, we've taken that out. We've taken so many of those things out of the play, and we're creating this weak, very weak culture and young adults coming adults that they think just because they showed up. And when they get their feelings hurt, I mean, they have no emotional capacity to handle themselves, which is crazy. It's absolutely crazy to me. I want to show you this. And Education is a Civil Right is one of those shows we're going to be doing here. And just tell me. No, let's do this one. No, let's go there. Let's go there. We here today. See if it pulls up.
Nevada, and he's having teachers arrested at a school board meeting. Now, y'all know how I feel about teachers. My beautiful wife is a teacher, my stepmother's a teacher, my aunts are a teacher, and my beautiful cousin's a teacher. And they're all underpaid, and they all do it because they care about children. And these teachers are sick and tired because they're overworked and not paid nearly enough. To give you an idea of how much they're paid, Andrew Shaley is a 7-year teacher, only being paid $50,000. But why are they so mad where they're getting arrested?
Now this is where
Because
like
our
a superintendent
friend, whose name is, well, despite what he may think, we'll go with Jesus.
Yeah.
Just got a $75,000 raise.
$75,000 raise now.
$317,000
a year.
Pretty good for a man who was almost fired last year. And to make things
Come on.
even more insulting, according to TransparentNevada.com, Jesus took on some side cash also. Combine that with benefits, it brings it to over $400,000.
It's a school district.
I know there are 3 or 4
in Nevada
that are talking every day about, if we don't get our contract, I can't afford to continue being a teacher.
And when the board voted to give this man a raise, they did it during the daytime, so teachers couldn't attend. Cue the angry teachers.
Hello, Brian. We're at the CCSD school board meeting, and I want to take you inside where the meeting started at 5 o'clock and it has devolved into chaos.
So when I'm saying that things are
This
happening,
is the same school district that's accused
when I
of
say things are
increasing the
happening in my
workload of
community,
teachers without
and they're happening in, Pontiac, Michigan,
to protest.
it's happening across the country.
And the school board responded by having them arrested. Many of you saw my video yesterday of teachers being arrested at a Clark County School District Board meeting in Nevada. But then I stumbled upon something very disturbing. Take a look at the badge this officer is wearing. Looks normal, doesn't it? Well, it's not. That's not a Clark County sheriff or police officer.
So when we start
That's
talking
a
about
Clark
prison,
County
school to prison
district
pipeline,
police officer.
it,
That's right.
Nevada got a
This
school district that has
its
its own police
force.
department,
It's a new trend throughout America.
which
to
because
help
of
increase safety
kids shooting up the
of
schools
children.
and safety and
Protect
things of
them
that nature, you have to
from
have
outside
that. That's
threats
no
that we've seen in
that
the
have no
past.
qualms with
Problem
that.
is, This is what's happening in Clark County school districts.
My
I'm going to pause the video right there to avoid violating community guidelines.
my
But this officer
concern.
aggressively slams that child to the ground.
I want you to tell the community why he hasn't been terminated.
Now, my concern with this particular school district and school district like it across like this across the country is that these are public dollars. Now, as a school board member, I have voted to bring, when I was aware of, we underpaying our superintendent. I think that we need to right size this and make it at least comparable to the other school districts. But then also what some of the things that what I was under the impression of, right? Because I used to have them foggy glasses on too. Whatever the superintendent said, it's got to be true because they the professional. Whatever the superintendent said, it's got to be, you know what I'm saying? Because they the ones that went to school and, they in the system and the whole night. Until I started looking at what my job was as a school board member. Oversight. Oversight means it ain't my job to do your job. It's my job to make sure that you can do your job. And the only way that you could do that is that, and it puts you in a position where you have to learn what they know and then also apply it to the rules and laws in which that you took an oath to say that you're going to protect those people. So I can clearly understand and see how, it was easy for them to pass a contract for the superintendent, because probably majority of them thought that, oh, he's doing a job because of things that they presented. But it's your job as a school board to dig deeper, to make sure that you're checking what you're supposed to be checking out. Like, you're supposed to go look at the data, but then take what the data that they give you and then compare it to somewhere else. And if you're not doing that, then what are you really doing? You're just taking this person that's your best friend. Their word for it. So when I'll be honest with you, it didn't take me 20 years, but it took me to get to this space where I feel comfortable enough and I'm young enough where now I want to start teaching board members on how to govern their district. We've been doing it all wrong. There's no best practices out there for us. There's nothing out there to help us outside of having conversations with other board members. And that's when I started getting into these state conversations and national conversations and being able to say, okay, what is it that we could do as a whole? And we be starting to share and exchange information. So that's why joining the National School Board Association was so important, NSBA. That's why joining the CUBE, Council of Urban Boards of Education, was so important. Because I started being able to look at what's going on in my district compared to what was going on in other districts. And then some of the problems that these other districts were having, how did they get out of it? How did they govern themselves? How were they able to find out what the truth is? And so it is important, it is vitally important that there is a place for those who used to be on school boards, who no longer want to go through the elected official minutia, who no longer want to go through all that, but still want to serve kids in a fashion where they're saying, okay, we just want you to do right by our kids. We understand what the laws are, the statutes. We want to help pass legislation that makes it best, pass laws to give us best practices that help our students learn better. There's a place for you. There's a place for you. And so we're going to have that. We're having that conversation. But again, going back to my man here in Nevada, it's different. It's different in different places, but yet it's still the same thing.
Or why he can't be terminated at the moment. Okay, due process.
Oh, look, another angry meeting in Clark County.
We're talking about the child that was taken down for recording on his phone. Let's talk about that.
Due process. I'm not going to be held for violating that. I'm not going to do that.
Due process is separate from your CBA Article 35.5.
And now here's what's even more concerning, and I must admit, I hope I'm reading this wrong.
Now, for me, that's why it's super important. I've been a school resource officer. I've been that guy right there. And talking about he needs to be educated on certain things that he needs to do as a school resource officer. As the chief of that particular department, I'm grateful to be at a department that gives us so much training, that works in a network of school resource officers to understand that what we do in the schools is just as important as what we do on the road. Like, I am so grateful that I'm in a league, I'm in a culture with folks that clearly understand that as school resource officers, we got to both know what the law is, we have to know what education process is, and then we have to find a way that makes it best for the student. Because when they get out in the real world, all of these help, all of the things that you would get while the kid is in school is not present. So reality is high school is the safest space to make all of your mistakes. I tell my parents that with my kids, you know what I'm saying, that even the ones that we mentor and things like that. Listen, this is the safest space that they can make all of these mistakes. So when they become adults, we're not gonna be calling you, mama. I've been that guy. And again, there's other ways that you can have a conversation with a kid about a cell phone that doesn't require physical activity. And sometimes, let's be truthful, if a kid throw a punch at you, it does require for you to have some physical contact with that kid. Because these kids are so attached to their phones and they have nervous breakdown. We go back to the participation trophy generation. All the parent probably do with this kid, and this is just a small microcosm of what happens. But they keep giving the kid, and not giving the kid them. So give them the phones, the gadgets, and all those other things. And then all of a sudden they get in contact with law enforcement, and they're expecting law enforcement to treat them like mama and daddy would. So you get to swing it on law enforcement. He got to take you down. And now you got a room full of people at the school because they like, oh, you can't do that with the kid. But they don't know what the totality of the circumstance is. They haven't looked at anything. The first thing they went to do was, we don't need no police. Well, obviously, if you got your own police department in Nevada, in the school district, oh, buddy, you had way more problems than this kid not giving up their cell phone. You don't have your own police department in your school district because you just want your own police department in your school district and you think that's the best practice. No. You have some real issues or some real concerns. The citizens have some real concerns about security in the environment in which the kid is living in. And they don't want that environment to come into the schools or the kids who are coming from them environments to take over the schools. And what I'm grateful for about being in that position is that I came up when I was sitting on the school board, I came up with a plan. How about we look at this from a mental health space? And we look at this about police officers because they are in the schools. SROs do know who doing what. Kids do trust them and building those relationships. Why won't administration use that to their advantage? So I'm telling you, we're going to have some great conversations. Matter of fact, I don't know if there's any comments because I know we went live. And I don't know if there's any comments or anything out there. But we really need to have a conversation around that and finding some solutions. And I'll share with anybody, if you look into what does that look like? What does it look like when you have police officers and administration working hand in hand for the best interests of your students? I got you. Let's talk about it. Let's put a plan together. And I guarantee you're going to see the results in the first semester. You're going to see the relationship. I can guarantee you that. Yeah, I can guarantee you that. So let me see here. Let's I don't know. Well, I had a couple comments up there. And I wanted to get into them, but we'll see. But you got to put yourself in a position, man. You got to put yourself in a position to win. You got to put yourself in a position to have these conversations. And once you get to that place, once you get to where you've always wanted to be, you have to do something to stay there. And that something is studying. That something is finding best practices. That something is moving yourself in situations where you are really, really contributing to the environment that you say that you want to be in. Whatever that space is. That was a good conversation. That was a good one. There was another one. I don't really participate in the whole relationship conversations, because so much happens in that conversation, man. Like so much get lost. Specifically, if you don't keep going in that along that vein, right? If you don't keep having that conversation, if you don't keep, talking about what needs to happen. And for me, again, I'm just grateful to have conversations with people and be in conversations with people who honestly have conversations about what's going on in life, right? Like real conversations, and presenting themselves in such a way where things are, the mindset is solution based, is driven by solutions. You know what I'm saying? God says people change by the renewing of their mind. The renewing of their mind. There's certain things that I used to think, I just don't think no more, because it's been proven that it just didn't work, or it was working for me at that time. But as I matured, as relationships, as things happen, I began to renew my mind. You couldn't pay me to go to a therapist. You couldn't. Therapist? What the hell? They not from where I'm from. They don't know what I know. So why should I go talk to them? Why should I go talk to somebody who don't even know me? Well, it's not about them knowing you. It's about them being able to help you think and work your way through the conversations that's going on with your head, so you ain't having them by yourself. So the only opinion that you have is the one that you have of yourself. And these people are professionally trained to help you think about certain things in a different kind of way. That's all it is. That's all it is. And so, yeah, I have a therapist. I have a therapist that, you know what I'm saying, that I see and that helps me as I'm maturing through this place called life. Because there were certain aspects I didn't even think I would see 50 years old, let alone be at 50 and live in the lifestyle that I'm living. This is unfamiliar territory. I've watched places and how I'm living and people like me on TV and be like, ooh, I want to be like them. But what happens when you be like them? What happens when you get that spot, right? Like there's some things in there that you have to process in your mind. And one of those things that I really had struggles with was survivor's remorse. And we could talk about that a little later too. But listen, I really appreciate y'all, man, staying here with me. Again, if you ain't had the chance to get over to Trusting the Process, please do so. Like, share, and subscribe. Get over to that page. And I'm gonna put this out here, and I'm gonna be plain. You can say whatever you want to about what you think you know about somebody, but until you've been in their shoes, until you've understand and can put yourself in that space, you need to give empathy to some people, man. Like you really do. And I'm not saying to a point where you're not holding them responsible, but you really need to have a conversation with yourself about how you treat people, because ultimately, just think about it like this. Would you want somebody to treat you like that? I don't care what they say about TD Jakes. That's my guy. That is my guy. That is, when I say that man, like just the way he speaks, carry himself. When I was in West Virginia visiting his storefront before he went to Dallas, like there's a certain amount of history, or there's certain people that you just can't. I'm talking about looking up to this dude at 17, 18, 19 years old. I'm 50. And so, listen, if you don't rock with him, then don't rock with him. Don't follow him. Don't share. Don't listen to him. But I rock with Jakes. I rock with Jakes. I'm going to keep rocking with Jakes. He was the first person to jump on the scene, start talking about men and some of the things that we were going through, young men helping us find ways to do things. He wasn't always churchy. He kept it to you real, gave you some practical stuff that you could use. And if you use it, I'm telling you, you'll be successful. And it's helped me be successful in life. But this is one of the reels I like from him.
We're a team. We can sort out our feelings later, but up under attack, we're a team. We're a team if she's sick. We're a team if she's broke. We're a team if she's hurting.
Fellas.
We're a team if she's in a crisis. We're a team when she's back.
Your wife shouldn't be your competition.
If she's in labor. We're a team if she's...
If your wife is your competition, that ain't your wife.
Okay. We're a team if she's trying to get up the steps. We're a team. We're a team. We're a team. And if you want to see her be violent, jump me. I wish you would.
I know that's right.
Into somebody I have never experienced in my whole life. But I found out, let me tell you something, and I've trained animals, I've had animals, I've had watchdogs and protect dogs. There is nothing as violent as a female watchdog, because this is a fact. The male dog will have strength, but that female watchdog will bite you, she will attack you, she will go for your throat, and together our property is safe, our children are safe, our
When I hear him talking, I hear him talking about my wife, for real. This is my wife all day. This is my wife all day.
I don't care how bad you are by yourself, and there's some bad sisters in this world.
I know that's right.
But you're gonna be better if you let me have your back. I don't
That's
care
it.
how strong you are as a man. There's something that comes out of a woman that will make you better than you are by yourself.
Whew. Hey, stop playing. Stop playing. Stop playing. Stop playing. All that. It's great to be independent. But how powerful can you really be if you got with your person? Like how more dangerous can y'all be together to the world? And I ain't saying, listen, everything is not going to be squeaky clean. Like everything is not, that's another human being, bro. Sis. Find out the things that you can live with and find out the things that you can't live with. And if the things that you can live with far outweighs the things that you can't live with, and stop fooling yourself. If you've been with this person, in and out with this person for over 3 years, you have an attraction to this person. So how about turn that thing into something that's going to be powerful for y'all legacy? Instead of just out here playing games. Yeah, have your fun. If that's what you want to do, if you want to go out and have fun, have fun. But don't take that choice from the other person. Let them know, hey, this is what it is. I done told you X, Y, and Z. Boom, I'm about to go do this. You're not responsible for the happiness of other people. You're responsible for your happiness. But your happiness should not put somebody else in a position of failure. But that's all I'm going to say about that. That's all I'm going to say about that. I'm done with that. Look, man, it's been about 45 minutes. I appreciate y'all trusting the process, baby. We got the first one in. We got the first one in. Look, to my police officers, to my elected officials, specifically those who are on board governance and public education, we got to get together. We got to link up. We got to have conversations. To my nonprofits, to the people who I really want to make some change in your community, in your respected area, we have to get together and have some conversation. I'll come to you. Just have some good food. I'll fly out to you. We could do the interviews. We could, just come on, man. We got to get this information out together. We are better together. So, man, I appreciate y'all, man. God bless y'all. I hold y'all down on this Saturday. Like, share, subscribe. That's what I'm asking you to do. Appreciate so we can grow the community, man. Trusting the process is the only way that you're going to find your purpose. And in that purpose, you find your assignment. Peace.